Wee! I'm Simon, and we are playing Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars, an adventure game. And see, now we are in a position where I don't know where the next puzzle is. And I've talked a little bit about game design and adventure game design and puzzle design, and I don't know if I've made this clear, but I make the distinction between looking for a puzzle and solving a puzzle. Like if you think of a jigsaw puzzle, you have pieces that you put together, right? That's the puzzle. You put the pieces together. Looking for the pieces is not the puzzle. Imagine if the pieces of your jigsaw puzzle were just scattered all around your house, and you're trying to find each piece. See, that's not the puzzle. Unless you have clues as to where they are, then it's a scavenger hunt, and then your clues are your puzzle pieces, and you solve the puzzle. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I feel like we're at this point where I don't know what I'm doing next. See, when I click on the hint, it says the juggler's in the way. I want to go down to the sewer. I don't know if I can trust that, because this hint system hasn't been very good so far. See, if I move somewhere else. Oh wait, that's the same place. Haha, my bad. If I move somewhere else, there's no hint. If I move somewhere else, there's no hint. I think the hint is only for the specific area that you're in. Police station, there's no hint, so I'm guessing there's nothing to do here. I'm interpreting that as to mean that there's nothing to do there. Back to Nico's apartment.
Hello, George.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Right, so I mean, this is the only place that has a hint, so I'm guessing I'm trying to get down to the sewer, but like, is that the puzzle? And do I have all the pieces? What if I don't actually have all the pieces I need for the puzzle? How do I do this, right? Right, how do I do this?
Excuse me, officer. Would you like to shake? I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
Yes, we can't. Okay, so we can't do that. So what is the puzzle? What is the puzzle? See, that's the question. And I don't think that looking for a puzzle is fun games. I think that actually working on the puzzle is usually fun games. But looking for it, I don't think it's fun games. I mean, that's my position on game design, and throughout all the games that I've played so far, that's been a consistent feeling for me. You know, unless the environment was really enjoyable, like moving through the game was really enjoyable, then maybe looking for something is nice, just because, you know, it's so interesting. But it's very rare for that to be the case. Now, even in games like Skyrim or, you know, Morrowind, I guess the first time you walk through an area, it's nice because it's new. You're seeing things for the first time, and it's quite beautiful. But you know, if you're walking through the same space 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 times, trying to find that thing that you don't even know what you're looking for, there's nothing interesting about that. Anyway, let me just keep playing the game, and we'll see if this problem comes up again in the future. Hopefully not too much.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian trap?
See,
Yeah, so...
I could direct, or I can. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but...
And
so we've had this conversation before.
What do you know about...
Letons and Normus.
We've had that conversation before. Let me just try everything.
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
Right.
Have you seen this?
No.
I believe him.
Oh,
Is that...
I did what, but it...
We've had that before.
Does this red... Do I...
No, no. And
What do you mean?
whoever...
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon.
Okay, I see. Okay. I think that was a clue. I think the clue was that we need to put on the red nose and juggle badly.
What do you make of this grease paint?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my...
Hell no.
Then...
Okay, we're not gonna shake his hand.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Does this...
The tap...
Take a look at...
Ah!
Look at this gem.
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod. What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Okay, I think I meant to put on the red nose, take his balls, and throw them around.
Hey, you with the balls. Oui? I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, Babs.
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
See, that's so obscure.
Okay, now for my secret weapon.
Use the red nose on the clown.
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
He left one of his balls behind. Okay.
Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
That was so obscure. See, there's another thing about adventure games, is that often you would have an idea about what to do, but you don't know what commands to give to the game exactly. And there, I mean, no, like, there was no clue as to how that how that would have worked. How would you have known that if you got rid of the clown, the gendarme would go away? Because he told you that he was there enjoying his wine and, you know, not policing, just sitting around enjoying his wine. He didn't say that if the clown left, then he would leave as well. So there was a missing clue there. And you know, why would putting on the red nose work? But you know, why if we put on the face paint, would that work? Maybe not. It's just that I think that particular puzzle there had a few missing clues that made it, you know, a little bit unreasonable, if you can call, you know, puzzles and riddles reasonable or not. And this part, like, we could give the chalice to him for him to polish, and we did. And you know, the player, well, I assume that this means that I need to wait for him to finish polishing the chalice for me to continue the game. And indeed, when I look at him,
The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church.
I mean, that seems like a clue for you to look around the church. But it turns out that it's not. You're not supposed to be here yet. You're supposed to be outside playing with the clown. So there's some confused clues around here. around this part of the game, and I think, I mean, there would, like, this is the most problematic part so far, I think. Like, there have been one or two instances when I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do, but eventually I figured it out. But this, I think, was like, there's a difference between a puzzle that the player can't figure out and a game that's fun. You know, sometimes you might think,
In French, English, and German it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the Knightly Order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine."
right. Like, sometimes you might think, well, it's a puzzle game. If we just make the puzzles more difficult, then it'll be a better game. It's not true, you know? A better game is a game that's more fun. And difficulty and fun is not the same thing. Sometimes they correlate, sometimes they don't. Anyway, let's just move on with the game and then stop talking about game philosophy for now. Alright, let's go down. There's underground canals. That's a bit crazy. Like, if you were sitting in that boat, you couldn't fit under that bridge. But I guess it would go somewhere else. We can go up, we can look at
If
that.
I wanted to get deeper into these catacombs, I was going to have to get onto that path.
Well,
If the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily.
well, obviously we used the boat. Let's look at these things.
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription.
3 arches, each with an inscription.
There were 3 My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
Okay.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence.
Innocence. Okay.
The wall had flaked, and the wall seemed the inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
Is there something behind it? Listen, again, I'm just using random items on this, which is not the right thing to do. There's probably something behind it.
A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around. Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near. On the boat was a winching machine.
Can I go that way? Oh, I can. Oh, the Hanged Man. Oh, I looked up. I looked back at the videos. The Hanged Man was in the last cutscene of the island segment. There was like he went into that chamber and there was a picture of a Hanged Man. Anyway, that's what this is. A skull on a door.
The door was a handsome piece of work.
I guess this is the mausoleum? Or this is like where this guy's buried, maybe?
I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked.
Good job. Good job. Okay, the door is locked. I don't have the key, I don't think. Alright, let's play with the boat. We might go in through this side, like this door might be crumbling. This door might be crumbling. Or this panel.
The hook lay in a bed of chain.
See, I don't even know what the puzzle is. Is the puzzle to get to this side? Or is the puzzle to get into this room? Again, like, what is the puzzle? I don't even know.
The hook lay in a...
again, like going back to the jigsaw puzzle analogy, like you have all the pieces and you know what you're meant to do with the pieces. Here we've given some things, but we don't know what we're meant to do with them. We don't even know what the objective is. Is the objective to get into that room? It never said. It never said. I mean, what if the objective now is to go back to the church and talk to the priest about what we've seen here? That's possible. Right? In fact, I couldn't do anything with the chain.
It was the bright red ball I'd got from the juggler.
A bright red ball. Look, I'm going to click on this, see what it says. The sewer seems to be a dead end. That's your hint. I mean, how would you interpret that? Seems to be a dead end? Would you interpret it to say that, well, maybe I should look more closely to see if it is? Or would you interpret that to mean, well, it's a dead end, let's go somewhere else? I don't even... Wait, okay, I don't even know.